Hey, we are back with the Eric and Tony podcast. We had a little holiday break, some delays for the holidays, but we're back with a very special guest, probably the most special guest we've had. Huh?
Take that, other guest.
Yeah, take that, other guest. You're nothing. This is episode 26 with Justin Foster, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Man. Appreciate it.
We were talking earlier about like holiday plans and travel and stuff, but then we're also talking about like big plans next year because Justin and I are going to go see Blink-182.
No. Incorrect.
What?
Take two.
No.
Green Day.
SoFi. Green Day. Fuck.
Green Day.
Well, I want my money back for the ticket.
It's already
Shit.
spent. It's
Okay.
Green Day.
Like
Smashing
Justin and I are gonna go
Pumpkins,
see
Rancid. There's a giant ad for it on the Roxy right there. The whole side of the building's painted
I was
for
looking
it.
for parking.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Damn.
Yeah.
What's the last concert
But
you went to go
see
see?
Blink-182.
Yeah. So we saw
Okay,
Green Day,
that's where the
Blink-182. We went to
conversation-
when we were young last month.
Oh, okay. So
And it was
recently.
like 40 bands.
That's pretty crazy.
God. Everybody. Yeah. It was crazy.
Is that like a
Yeah.
festival thing? Where
Yeah, they
like
do it in
you
Vegas
go-
once a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually just bought my tickets for October of next year.
Is Blink going to be there?
It's Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance
Okay.
and Jimmy Eat World and The Used and
Jimmy Eat World's
It's
one
a
of those
Hot
bands
Topic
that
show.
like, it is, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Like the fuck, all the plastic shirts. That band grew on me. Like I didn't really like them when they first came out because they're just on the radio. And then like as their like albums got older, I'm like, you know what? That wasn't that bad of a song. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, this whole fucking album's solid. Like
right.
that.
I've
they're like-
always loved them, but
Yeah.
a lot of people have come around. We went to the show. We saw them at the Greek this year, and there was I saw like 40 people that I know there, and I was like, you
Yeah.
guy. They're like,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody we're here. You know.
my secret. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, we're gonna see that at SoFi in September, which
Yeah.
is a long ways away.
Yeah. But,
But
later.
we got tickets. So I bought tickets. Like I set my alarm.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins is my favorite band, and we've talked about
Yeah.
this before. And the fact that they're opening is awesome.
The
Like that's
Pumpkins are?
insane. Pumpkins are opening, and then it's Green Day. So like
Really?
Yeah.
it's like Linda's
And then
Rancid, Pumpkins.
yeah.
It's gonna be
Have
awesome.
you been to SoFi yet?
I have not.
It's
I've
fucking
not.
crazy.
So that's what I was gonna say. So I bought us. I'm gonna put this out there into the universe right now. I got us the best I could do for our budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
But-
is like $1,000 each because we're rolling in dough.
But
Yeah.
here's what I've made the promise to myself and to you guys and to the universe. If I make it, whatever that looks like from now until then,
Yeah.
I'm selling those seats and I'm buying those floor tickets.
Okay.
All 5 of us.
Okay.
So I have from now until September to like,
Do you hear that, universe?
you got it.
Let's start
Okay.
plugging your handles right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe,
Justin
follow.
Foster.
And by that
Yeah.
mean I'm starting a
Instagram, TikTok,
GoFundMe.
his
I have a
Venmo is, yeah,
GoFundMe
exactly.
account to get us
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
floor. So yeah, that's it. That's my promise to you guys.
All right. well, I'll
There's
take
no
it.
bad seat in that spot in that
Oh,
place
really?
though. It's so
Yeah.
good. I mean,
never
even
mind then.
we went to go see Metallica a few months back, and I was like the same thing. I was like, oh man, that'd be so cool to be like on the floor and
Yeah.
stuff. We were basically like on the first non-floor seats. They're like so the first level up,
Mhm.
but like maybe 15 rows back. And the way they did it is the stage was a big circle,
Right.
and the drum kit would rise up at different spots. So everybody kind of got like
Oh,
to
that's
be
cool.
like front row kind of at
Yeah.
some point, and then everyone's walking around, the
Yeah,
whole time
yeah.
anyway. But
Yeah.
it was so fucking cool. It's like going to see something like in a starship or something like the
Yeah,
future.
totally,
Like
yeah.
it's
Like
crazy.
the upper, what I don't know, grandstands, where the fuck they are just
Yeah.
like so tiered up that it's like almost, I would get like clammy hands looking down and shit.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just-
like
yeah,
a sheer
that might
drop.
be where we're at.
Yeah.
I set my alarm and everything to get the
Dude, I'm
best I
down
could
with
get.
that. Again, not a bad seat in the house. And two, there's also like, I'm not trying to get in the pit, dude. I'm like too old for that shit. Like we were at, so the concert we're going to tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. The Miss Smiths.
The Miss
right?
Smiths.
Yeah.
It's a Misfits Smiths cover
Yeah.
band.
Okay.
They go
Yep.
back and forth each song.
So that is the same venue, right? As Max played at.
Yes.
Okay. We were at a concert there, Max's show, a couple weeks ago.
Max 5.
Yeah.
Max fight.
And some like fucking young kid, like I just closed my tab, I got like a $10 beer, and some kid wants to start doing a mosh, but I'm like, absolutely not. Like, this is
Yeah.
not that kind of, it's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
At like
It was
10 o'clock.
Monday.
A Monday.
Yeah.
Even,
Yeah.
Even
Even
worse.
Monday.
And I
Yeah.
was just like, so everyone just started backing away and just kind of looking at this guy like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like,
Yeah.
I
no-
did have that when we were at Metallica. I'm like, I am so glad I'm in a seat, and like everyone around
Yeah.
me was like kind of older, was like my age too, and I'm like, okay, we're all just like having beers and just watching it from
Totally.
a distance
Yeah.
and watching people just get.
But there's still
fucking
definitely
pummeled.
dudes our age that still are like waiting for that shit. Like the guys that go to Vegas are like, I can't wait to do fucking whores and blow in Vegas, and it's like the same guys like, I can't wait to get in the fucking pit and just punch random strangers and stuff.
Yeah, more power to
Yeah.
them. If that's
Yeah.
your thing, that's your jam. That's good. I prefer watching from a distance.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we were watching Max, and you're in a basement, so it's like it's not particularly safe if something happens, and which is something I would never
Huge
think
fire
about
hazard,
20
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
But this little mosh pit
Yeah,
breaks out,
right.
and Tony and I just go, all right, we just start backing up.
Back
Like, all right.
We were like backing up so much that we almost like fell over an end table that was there behind us. Like,
Yeah.
just get me away from this fucking guy.
Yeah. We got to the pit of it when we were young, but it was like Green Day. So everyone's like our age. So it wasn't even a pit. Everyone's just kind of like moving together at this. It was like Offspring
Gentle
and Green
hands,
Day.
gentle
We were just
hands.
kind yeah. It wasn't anything intense. So
I remember listening to that album. What is it? Dookie on cassette. And whenever I'd mow my lawn, my parents' lawn back home, I'd put that on. And when I come around, it was like my jam. I just listen to that repeat and then rewind.
You play that when you came around the living room so your mom would see you.
yeah, that's when you know you're almost done when it gets to that track.
Yeah.
Like halfway done with the yard.
Yeah, dude, that was like one of my first cassettes. I think the one before that was Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, oh yeah. We all had that cassette. If you were born when we were born, you all had the Vanilla Ice cassette for sure.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice.
What was your first cassette?
It was definitely like MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice,
Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al.
My mom gave me a bunch of cassettes when I was like really young. So I had like the Eagles and like Fleetwood Mac and like Guns N' Roses and stuff. I had a Black
the first
Sabbath
one you
tape.
actually purchased.
Yeah,
or
it was
asked
probably
for.
like
Yeah.
a
One of those like
what was
radio
the
top
Vanilla
40,
Ice
yeah.
one? Whatever that first one was, Ice Ice Baby or whatever it was. Yeah, probably that.
Do you remember Tape World at the mall?
No,
You guys had, it might have been a regional thing. We had like that
World?
was like the Tape
I don't even
World.
remember that.
Tape World is like that's where you got your tapes, man. But I got like Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill was the first album I got, and like my mom was okay with it, and it had like the parental explicit lyrics, all that shit on it. But like I got that. My brother got the Naughty by Nature album, but I don't really listen to them because I have like my siblings tiered up. So like my older sister was like in 6th grade, which wasn't too crazy for her to be listening to that kind of shit. And I was in 2nd grade, but like, yeah, Mom, I want a Cypress Hill album for,
right.
Let's go get me one from the store.
Well, they would always look out for you too. We would go to like Blockbuster Music, and I remember I wanted the Rage Against the Machine, the self-titled, and it had the thing on it.
Yeah.
And
the advisory.
right.
That
And,
was so
then my
like,
mom, but my mom had to buy it for me.
Yeah.
And I remember her being like, hey, is this like really bad? And the lady behind the counter was like, no, they have to put that on there. And then she like kind of like gives me a look, and I was like, awesome, thanks.
Did you ever get into the Jerky Boys?
Of course, yes, of course.
I remember my parents hearing that, and they like took it away from us and like put it in their room, and we couldn't listen to it, but then we still knew where it was. Yeah, like that. I don't know why, but like I'm sure now if you listen to it, you're probably like, this is not even that funny. But like it was fucking so funny as a kid hearing like just people say like crazy things like that.
All of your listeners under 40 just logged off. Yeah, like, we have no idea what's happening right now.
I know, right?
Cassettes.
That's Jerky. Yeah, exactly. We're fucking antiquated.
Yeah,
but MC Hammer. Fun fact. You know where he got his name from?
I don't.
Okay. You know baseball at all?
I don't.
Okay. There was a guy, he used to play baseball named Hank Aaron.
Okay.
He has the still standing like most home run record, like I think 715 in his career. But his nickname was Hammerin' Hank Aaron.
Hammerin' Hank.
And MC Hammer looked like Hank Aaron when he was a kid. So he took his fucking nickname.
He just took his name?
Yeah. MC Hammer, man.
There you go. Remember he like went broke? He like spent all of his money. He like gave like all of his
Hank Aaron also, that's good. Really fouled suit.
Yeah, he gave everyone jobs.
He had like 100 people on stage every time he performed. It was like the biggest production like ever.
Like everybody from the hood. He was like, all right, now you're my merch manager. You're my...
I mean...
good on him though. I mean, he thought he was going to like keep churning out the hits.
Yeah. I mean, back then, like... Did you see the Weird Al Yankovic thing that he just posted where he was like... Because everyone's doing their Spotify Wrapped, and he's like, thanks Spotify for $80 for 30 million streams or whatever. It was crazy. But back then, when you're selling tapes and CD, like they were making so much money.
That was like right before like they stopped making money as musicians.
Yeah, there was like a sweet period where like you would like they were making a lot, unless you got like a really bad record contract, which a lot of them did. But
right. Weird Al would be fun to go see. Like I grew up listening to him too, and
of course,
so many, all of his albums, all of his songs. That'd be kind of interesting to go see that. Like now, like I bet the show is amazing.
Oh, everyone says it's incredible.
I bet. Like it's like probably the most fun.
I remember being a kid, like, this guy's a
genius.
Yeah.
There's nobody funnier.
I mean, it's funny because his videos hold up, man. I mean, like, fat and like all those are just like, dude.
Because I'm fat.
He was so smart, though.
Yeah,
It was like funny, but he was also like very like intelligent.
He got in hot water with like Coolio over like Gangster's Paradise.
Really?
Yeah, when he did Amish Paradise. Yeah,
that.
he was like fucking pissed about that because that was like kind of like a little love song to the hood. And then this fucking like, you know, Jewish guy with an accordion comes and it's like, I'm going to make fun of your song. Fucking was like not having it. Yeah.
That's funny.
R.I.P. Coolio.
Coolio and Weird Al beef.
Yeah.
I want that diss track where they just go back and forth.
Coolio's dead?
Yeah, he died.
Really?
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
We've landed on the moon.
Yeah, you died like shit.
The Eric and Tony show. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Something's just dead. Yeah, Coolio's dead. Yeah.
What?
Dead.
This just
Not just his career, him.
Oh no. When did he die? I forgot.
He died like this year. His career was done years ago. No, like I don't know. He was rocking a fucking like bad comb over of like.
That's like how I felt when like Bob Barker like died. I was like, I thought he died like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he just like died like a year, like this year or something.
Dude, Bob Barker too had like a whole bunch of like sexual harassment fucking lawsuits. It makes sense. You ever watch old like
with the microphone, he's like kissing the girls.
So funny. Everyone comes over, even the ladies that would come up, they like just all the sexual harassment.
That's like the whole like era of like you ever watch the Family Feud? The guy that had it,
the original guy.
Oh, he would like
he would kiss him on the mouth. Yeah, I just saw it on TikTok there. It was like a best of, but he's just kissing all the contestants, and they loved it. All of them were like lining up for it.
Yeah, kiss me. Like just very different times for sure.
For sure,
definitely different times.
Yeah,
but yeah, so definitely some. You guys got some cool things coming up then for sure. That's exciting.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow will be fun.
The pit.
I just like to go out and do stuff.
We can still go, dude.
And you're down.
Still go. Yeah,
you're always like down to do stuff too.
Tony's the most down person ever.
Down ass dude.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, let's just go do stuff.
If I don't have my kid, man, I do not need to be sitting in my house. I should need to do something productive or recreational, I guess.
Yeah,
and concerts are great, man. That's something that I kind of feel like I fell out of because I saw Green Day for the Insomniac tour. They came through Milwaukee.
Oh wow!
Played the Bradley Center. And, Billy Joel Armstrong fucking mooned the audience and got arrested on stage and shit. And that's how the show
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Like it made MTV and stuff. And I was like, I was at that fucking concert. I must have been like in 6th, 7th grade at the time or something like that.
That's crazy how far we've. I want to say come or deteriorated.
Right,
I don't know which way you want to look at it, but like. Where like mooning the audience would get you arrested.
Probably get you like
which
elected.
Is like such a 1960s thing to do. You know? It's just like, oh, how dare you?
But now I feel like we've like gone too far the other way. It's just like there's too much. Like you got to split the difference a little bit.
Well, dude, some of the shit that has radio play, like fucking, like WAP. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's just like, okay, like we need this.
As
like,
a dad, you're like, I can't.
Yeah, man. That is definitely shit that doesn't play on. Like, I actually keep my like music selection for my kid to be like. Typically like 60s type shit or some neo soul stuff, like a lot of Leon Bridges.
Yeah.
But there was like all types of like sexual innuendo songs when we were kids too, like NWA.
But those are innuendos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or like what is it? I can't forget the name. The three like R&B girls saying don't go chasing waterfalls and shit.
TLC?
Yeah, TLC. They had like song about like sex and like AIDS and like, you know,
like
all that stuff.
Cleverly worded where you're not like talking about like your literal wet ass pussy and then like just
is that what that WAP, that makes sense. Oh, okay.
You heard it here first.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, this song is about wet ass pussies.
That makes sense.
And it's like the lyrical kind, just like Jesus Christ, can you be more fucking vulgar? It's just like I get like having a good beat, but this shit's just like trash.
But I think that's just us becoming older
now, dude.
Because every generation has gone through that where like the parents were like, that is ridiculous and that shouldn't be like rock and roll is insane.
Like 2 Live Crew? Yeah. Pop that pussy. Yeah,
but I remember listening to them being like, this is a lot. Like even like, back then, I remember like, this is a lot.
Exactly. And that's the thing too, where it's like, and it's just like.
Or the fucking song, what's it? You're making it hard for me.
Again, still.
Like, I remember dancing to that in like 6th grade or some shit. And I'm like, and then no one knew what the lyrics were talking about. And then you're like, oh my God, you're listening to this. Like, this song is about like grinding on a chick with like a fucking hard on. Every kid is dancing to this. It's like.
But it's cleverly.
Stand back, get a little close. Feel a little poke coming through.
But it was like, that shit. It's like fucking crazy. So it's always been there.
But it's still slight. Again, it wasn't just like my insides are out like wet right now. And if you put your dick inside, it's just like, because she's talking about like cock, all this crazy shit. And you're like, what the fuck is on? This is on the radio?
But I bet you there's so many kids that listen to that song and like that WAP or WAP, whatever the term is. They're probably saying that, have no idea what the fuck's going on. I guarantee you.
OPP
just like
was
we
like
did
that too. That was another one that was kind of like under the radar. Like
OPP was
again. Since my mom bought my brother that tape, when she found out the meeting, she said, "Donnie, give me that tape back." And it's like it's too late. We already had dubs of it. It was already
that's a perfect example. OPP.
Yeah, but the radio edit was like other people's property, right? So it was like still.
I'm sure there's a radio. I don't know. I hear my brother's kids and they know like all the lyrics to all the like the hip songs, and I'm like, how? And then I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember being like that when I was
my kid doesn't like swear words though, so it's nice. Anything that comes up like on a playlist, he's like, "That's a bad word,
nerd."
No, he'll be like, "Bad word." But then it's funny because I was playing Kid Cudi because Kid Cudi's got a lot of cool like like the panning and the music and stuff, just cool beats and shit. And then he like drops a swear word. And my son goes, "Daddy, he said a bad word." I'm like, "Should I change the song?" He's like, No, keep it. I was like, "Oh, okay." So you like Kid Cudi. You let Kid Cudi swear every once in a while and stuff. Yeah. And he's not saying anything vulgar. He'll just say like a F-bomb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So does Daddy. Sometimes.
Is your kid, he just doesn't like cuss words?
Well, we, tried to curb our swearing around him. And then like he said shit one time. I was like, "What'd you say?" He's like, I'm like, "Yeah, that's a bad word." I'm like, in fact, if you hear anyone say that, say, "Don't say that's a bad word." And his grandparents swear a lot too, because they're just kind of like, unaware of.
I'm no help either.
You're not. Uncle Eric
doesn't help in that regard.
But he'll call it out. He's like, "Don't use the bad word and stuff like that." And then he became like the bad word Nazi, where he's just like, "How dare you use a 4-letter word in front of me" and stuff. So it's nice because like that's the thing that you kind of start to sweat when your kid drops like a swear word. You're like, "Ooh, okay,
yeah."
Shit, like
I remember my mom would wash my mouth out with soap.
Oh yeah.
When did that go away?
I think
because there wasn't like a movement or like a petition. It just kind of like people were like, "Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this."
I feel like that was like normal in my generation. Like, oh yeah, you said something bad, you get your mouth washed out.
It's a Christmas story.
You fuck up.
Ralphie gets his mouth washed out.
Like,
yeah. But again, 80s movie taking place in the 50s or whatever. I feel like after that movie, it was kind of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't watch the soap opera. Remember there's that scene and he goes blind?
Well, it didn't work for me.
Yeah. No.
80 to like 91, I was getting my mouth washed out.
That was like the solution though. Like there's so many things that was like, oh, my parents actually like did that. They're like, put the soap in your mouth and then he'd sit in the fucking bathroom with bar soap in your mouth when they had bars of soap. Like that's a thing. Like I don't think people
put body wash in their mouth now.
Yeah, I like
open up.
Yeah, it's just the axe.
Yeah.
It's on a loofah.
Yeah, spray.
Like the hipster parents.
Twisting it.
Go get your loofah.
Your organic
soap with the twigs in it.
Soap or whatever.
Real pumice.
Yeah, I don't think like kids get like spanked anymore. I don't think that's like a thing. Like I don't feel like that's like a normal thing. like I'm sure there are parents that do it, but I think it's like the minority are the people that still spank their kids, not the majority of people.
I have given my kid a spank before. Like nothing like crazy.
Did you feel bad?
Just took a belt off. Took my day out on him.
I'm not going to raise.
What? No, I like. Yeah, and like there's just because I forget we did something real like assholeish and shit, and it was just like a little pop, and then basically like, but then you threaten, like, I'm gonna give you pow pow, and then he'll like if he started doing something crazy in public, hey man, you want a pow pow? And then he started repeating, he's like, "No, Dad, I don't want a pow pow." I'm like, "Oh fuck!" You're like, "Don't amplify this." And then it sounds like I'm threatening my kid, which I was,
right?
But I'm like, don't let the people know that shit. So I was like, "Hey man," so like. Every once in a while, if he's acting a little crazy, you have to, just kind of just give him a little extra grip around the shoulder. I'm like, I'm dial this shit in. Right
My mom used to do that. Like, do we need to go to the bathroom right now? Like, we'll be at a restaurant. Do we need to go to the restroom? Like,
yeah, exactly. So he got that, and he's pretty good. I mean, like we had a little incident a couple weeks ago, and he bit another kid's face. They're biting each other's faces and shit.
Wait, what? It's not an incident. I don't know if that's an incident. That's like a thing.
Yeah.
He's trying to eat the kid's face off.
Kids.
Us Kleins are all about cannibalism. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He doesn't cuss, but he eats faces.
We eat people.
He eats faces.
Donner party of 6. Yeah.
I ate his face off, but I didn't say any bad words.
Yeah. There's like this dude. It was like I got that call from school. Like the school calls me. And they're like, "Hey, just want to let you know, like, one of these in office, like, you got in a fight, bit a kid's face, he bit his face." I'm like, "What?" There's like multiple faces bitten. Like, this is just a regular fucking Wednesday for you. And then I went and picked him up, and like, again, too, it's like he is in like a 4-year-old kindergarten, so it's like a ETK is what it's called. I don't really know what the E or the T stands for early toddler kindergarten or something like that is what I imagine.
Wet ass kindergarten.
Yeah, wet ass kindergarten, dude.
Wet ass kindergarten.
Face biting kindergarten over here. So I like talking to the teacher because immediately, as you guys, we all had the same reaction. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, did he eat bath salts? Like, why is my kid eating faces and shit? And it's just like, oh yeah, kids just do that like that. This is just what they do this year. And I was like, sometimes and then they age out of this. And like, when? Because I don't want my kid eating faces, and I don't want my kid's face being all fucked up either. But like, I picked him up. He had a little bruise on his cheek, and the other kid had a little bruise on his cheek and shit. And I was like, all right, we got to fix this, And then the next day I dropped my kid off, and like the other kid's got this fucking giant bandage on. I'm like, all right, now I'm being a little excessive. So
right. Yeah.
He comes in with like a walker and shit.
Yeah.
Like
his parents are attorneys.
It's like a cartoonist. He's got the wrapper on his head. But like, and I just put a little fucking Neosporin on my kid. But we ended up doing a little play date with him and the other kid. I was like, okay, so now me and the other dad and our kids go to a playground to try to like work it out so they're gonna play and then not eat each other's faces anymore and stuff. And
do you ever see that video of like two corgis? And they're just like, biting, the air biting each other. They hate each other, but they live together, and it's fucking hilarious. I try to imagine anytime you bring up that story, I'm like, this it's got to be like just kids air biting each other.
Yeah,
but now Tony and the dad bite each other's faces.
Yeah. Now we just doing play dates. We just do regular dates. Me and the other dad. No, he's actually cool. There's like that's like the biggest downside of being a parent is like other parents. And just, how many you have to just stomach where you're just like, okay, yeah. Like, and then
how many forced friends do you have to have now? Like,
0.
That's like, I remember my dad being like, so like, yeah, like he was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking go and hang out with any, like,
I'm lucky that most of my kids, like friends, parents are cool. And I would like kick it with them. We just happen to have a thing in common that we have kids. But there are some kids that like I see, and then some parents that I see at the school, I'm like, please don't let my kid hang out with this fucking kid.
Yeah. A lot of parents are nerds.
Fucking nerd. And then a lot of them are just like, just rich fucking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bougie people that I could not I would never hang out with.
Right.
If it wasn't for like the sake. And I had to see them in like passing and then like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, cool. Like, all right.
Getting into their fucking.
Oh, dude, I saw the funniest
whatever,
fucking thing the other day. So, funniest and scariest thing. So I'm dropping my kid off at school. He goes to school down in like Mar Vista. And I'm walking past, I drop him off, I had to leave through the front door. It's all locked up and shit. Everything's way secured, way more than it was when we were kids. You just walk on and off campus, which is nice. And then I'm walking past where the little kindergarten drop off is. And then I hear this woman and she's like, and that's your problem. And I was like, and I'm going to tell Miss B that. I'm like, okay, well, she's talking to an adult. And then she gets her kid out who's in my kid's grade, like a 4-year-old. And she's like, I'm like, that you just said that your kid, like, that's your problem. Or that's the problem with you is what she said. I was like, damn, that's like, you were fucking this kid up already, like a brand new kid. And you're already like, that's the problem with you. You just fucking take your boots off and all the shit. That's just, I was like, damn, like fix your shit. Like don't ever let your kids see you sweat. That's what they say.
Dude, that's like nothing. So I had
that's like cerebral shit.
Oh no. So like, just to put in context of like the generation that we grew up in.
Yeah.
Compared to like what that is. So I went to a Catholic school. Right. So we had like nuns and stuff that were like teachers and stuff like that. And there's this kid that I went to school with. This was like 2nd grade. And his mother died. I don't know how or what, but she passed away. I mean, everybody knew, all the kids knew and stuff. And he was like emotional, like, he'd like start crying during school and stuff like this. And this fucking nun in front of everybody, he goes, just get over it, Jonathan. Your mother's dead. She's never coming back. And I remember that as a kid and berating this little fucking kid. Like in 2nd grade saying that. And I'm like, Jesus. And that was never like, she was still a teacher for like years after I went to school there. Yeah. Right. Like it was like, just like, yeah, like things would just get like swept.
The least problematic thing at a Catholic school.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Were there ever hot nuns?
Yeah.
Were they ever hot nuns? Well, I feel like if you ever watch movies, all the nuns are like 90 years old.
No,
they were like young, like, hey, like just fresh out of nun school nuns.
Just got out of the nunnery.
Yeah.
We had like one younger nun, but she was just like fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why else you'd become a nun.
Like,
you gotta be fucking nuts or like weird or something. So
I also feel like that's kind of a prerequisite for being a nun. You have to be like unattractive and you just can't get anything.
That's why.
Like, yeah, fuck it.
It's like the incel of religion.
Basically.
Like, no one wants to sleep with me. I'm just going to give it over to the Lord.
Yeah, because no one else wants it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you grow up in like a?
I grew up in Texas, but I didn't grow up religious.
Oh, like no religion. So
we would go to church sometimes, but it was like it was like really, really loose. Yeah. Where it was like they would sing "Don't Worry, Be Happy," you know, like that. Like there's always like a guy with
like a Catholic church, or just like a.
I like that. It was
Christians.
Really.
What was it? Was like what's is it Lutheran or where it's just like it's like a free for all where there's just like people are drinking coffee. There's like a white dude with dreadlocks playing like acoustic guitar, like that type. That. Yeah,
this is church.
Yeah, church is good. Then you get older, you're like. Oh, that's not where I went at all. Yeah. There's like they have a lot of churches out here where they have like the pride flags out front, and there's like everyone's like except the that was kind of where we went but like 3 times a year.
You went to like a really Catholic one with like the little fucking mystifier thing they wave around.
That's where you went?
Cloaks and shit. What, like for like
mystifier?
Yeah,
that's like I think they do it only a certain time of year.
Well, every time I was there, they were doing that shit.
Mystifier, like Vicks vapor rub.
Mystifier,
spraying the audience. And
I think you were at Hogwarts. Like I don't know. Oh wow,
yeah. I was like, oh cool, and then everyone. And it's funny because like my mom, like that was the same Catholic church she went to. So like everyone starts speaking in tongues and shit. I'm like, you might want to give us the cliff notes on this because I don't know what the fuck to be saying right now. I'm just sitting there like this.
Yeah. You ever go to a black church?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. I went to a black church in the South one time with my buddy. That's fun. They're like 9 hours.
People start crying and get like emotional and shit. Yeah.
It's a party.
Buddy, I was
I can get into that.
Yeah, but this is LA. A lot of people don't go to church here.
Oh, we went to church. I went to church way more than I ever wanted to. And it was
you did go to church out here.
Yeah. Only black churches out here.
The irony of that.
Yeah. And then like just the
Jesus Christ.
Just the like again too, nothing against anyone else's spiritual journey and stuff, but like the whole time I'm like, this is a fucking cash grab. It's like just like
what gave it away?
And I never I didn't start the firewall thinking that. And then everyone's so just buying it and fucking getting emotional and just purging all these emotions and crying and stuff. And I'm always looking there like, all right, I do not belong here. Like, and also too, I'm the only white guy there, so just kind of like, and I'm not crying. I don't know any of the words for any of the songs again. Too, just like, I've always felt like that at every church I've ever been to. Just like, I don't know what's going on here. It's just like the same time, the first time you go to Chipotle and you don't know the order of operations. Where everyone's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know, fucking like burrito, bowl, salad. Like, just like, I don't want to get yelled at. I just want to fucking get out of here.
Right. And the guy behind the counter is driving like a Rolls Royce with a purple suit.
Exactly. Making your burrito with a purple.
Dude, I went to an all German church one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My buddy was like, he was a preacher, whatever. He's young. He's like younger than me, but he was like, you should come like hear me speak or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I don't do anything. Yeah, that'd be fun. So I went. He didn't tell me it was all in German.
That's hilarious.
And I was just sitting there. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. It was just like a dude on a podium yelling German. I was like, this is not. This is
it's like a reenactment of Mein Kampf.
Yeah, this is. And I look like this. Yeah. I'm like, all right. This is.
We must
but I guess it was good. But the guy next to me was like, "Do you not?" I was like, "I don't. No, I don't.
Never heard this words before in my life." So.
Yeah, the older I get, the more like distant I get from religion.
It's 2 options. It's the only 2 options. You either like grow up with religion and you get older and you distance yourself from it, or you get older and you're like, there's probably a God, and I need to fight him fast.
Yeah, my dad was like that because like up until he got cancer, he was like, you know, Tony, what happens after you die? It's just a black box. You're just fucking dead. Throw some dirt on me, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel too. Then all of a sudden, like as like cancer got the better of him, he's like, you know, the Lord wants me. He's got a plan. I trust it. Like, my life's in his hands. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, got soft on me.
Totally. That's how my dad was. My dad's never talked about God once. And then he got cancer and he was like, I'm going to beat this thing. I already made a deal with God. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And he did. I mean, he beat it. Like, so, I mean, whatever deal he made was good. But I was like, I think it is. Like, there's that old saying, there's no atheists in foxholes.
Yeah.
You know? So I think eventually if something happens, you start talking.
I saw a bumper sticker like that when I was younger, and it was like a NASCAR bumper sticker. It's like, there's no atheists at 120 miles an hour and shit. And then that always kind of like stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And then I got in my motorcycle accident years ago when I was already an atheist. And like, as I was like flying to my death, I'd like, after I didn't die and I came to for my concussion, I was like, I didn't say, hey, God, get me out of this. I was like, I stuck to my word.
That's crazy. Good for you.
Yeah, dude.
I'm on a plane. If we drop, I'm like, oh, Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Sorry, I've ever forsaken you. Walked away. I lost the light. The guy next to me is like, it's just turbulence, guy. I'm like,
Let's move my seat.
Yeah.
I'll have you sit. Yeah.
You ever do that? You're in turbulence and you're like, and then like the guy next to you's like sound asleep. You're like, I guess maybe it's not that bad.
Whenever there's turbulence,
I embrace that.
I
really
always talk
about that. I was on a fucking
that.
flight with my kid just last week, and we got turbulence and shit. And he started yelling nervous. I'm like, it's all right, buddy. And I was like, if I go down, what a better time to get. At least I got my kid. I know he's okay the rest of his life because I'll be there the rest of his life.
See, I ruin everyone's row. Everyone on me, I ruin. Dude, there's a guy who I tour with, I travel with. He hates flying now because of me.
That's hilarious.
He was like the rock hard, like whatever is it, and now he's like, it is a little. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. This is not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's funny.
Tony's all, if we die, we die.
Yeah, man.
I had a grandfather that was like that. He was an atheist his whole life, but I guess to the other extent where he kept to his fucking word till his dying day.
Good for him.
He fucking was like, I remember asking him like,
his last words are like, "I'll never see you again."
Yeah. Like I remember having like really like deep conversations with him. Like when like the last couple of years he was alive, I was like, because he was always open about like just talking about like anything, and he had a lot of great stories from his life, and.
Apparently, it doesn't run in the family.
Yeah. Oh, well, he was 91, so I got time. I got time. But I was like, like, what do you think happens? Like, your wife, my grandmother passed away. Like, what do you think happens? You think you'll see her again? He's like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think you just like shut off, man.
That's it.
And he was like, but he kept that like to the fucking like end. I was like, that's fucking like, that's real like
commitment to the bit.
Yeah, like you really like that's your,
I started getting into like I started really like fucking with God when I was watching like during the pandemic. I started watching like space documentaries and stuff. Dude, that shit is like crazy.
Yeah, what space docs were you watching?
Like just like the universe and the formation of the universe and like all the things that have to happen for us to be sitting here doing a podcast right now.
Yeah.
It's like mathematically impossible for you to like there's like a planet that I didn't know this. There's a planet in the solar system. Its only purpose is to just take meteors. It just takes meteors all day and knocks them away from us. And if one misses it like that, we're all dead in like 30 seconds. It's just like crazy. I was like, maybe this isn't an accident.
There's a lot of shit like that where you just start looking at the numbers and you're like, this does seem like a mathematical sequence and shit.
Right.
But then you start thinking about, then you take it the other way and it's just like, is this like a Matrix scenario? And it's just, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
That's too heady for me. Like
everything is. No matter what once you start going too far down the rabbit hole in any direction, then you start like, because like, I got fucking like all the new age friends that are into like, manifesting and all that kind of shit. And just like, all right, but like also too,
that shit works though.
It does, but then there's a point where it's just like, is every breath you like take supposed to be manifesting something? Because then you're also like not really living in the present anyways.
That's true.
So there's like
I tried that manifestation stuff as an experience.
You got yourself on this podcast, so
yeah, dude, it was on my vision board. I was like, Eric and Tony show. I got 3 years, and then here we go.
3 years.
You can do it too, kids. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like that, like when you start going to the gym and you like really eat clean and put like, trying to do all this work is like Eric and I like years ago were like big into like lifting. You couldn't tell anymore, but you guys are good. Yeah, dude. There was a point like I'm naturally around like 165, right? I think I got up to like 195. I was like, just fucking jacked, dude.
Yeah.
Sick ass traps and I stopped eating the massive amount of food to like take that in. And it became a thing where I'm like, I'd rather just fucking like eat whatever the fuck I want and be okay with that. And that's how I feel about any kind of like philosophy shit or manifesting, where it's just like, I'll try to like look at things optimistically or try to like plan for that. But I'm also not like, I had a negative thought. That's why I got a parking ticket. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, no, I don't believe that. But I did this experiment one time because I was like broke. I was like at a really like hard place, and somebody was like, you should try to manifest money. And I was like, you should go fuck yourself. And then I found this YouTube video, and it was like 15 minutes a day. It was like this meditation. You have to do it like every day for 15 minutes. And I did it. Like I would like just sit in my car and like do it every day. I did it every day for like a month, and then like, dude, like money just started coming in. Like really? I swear, like after like
the link for this video,
I've sent it to so many people. I've sent it to like 40 people, and everyone's like, "Okay, cool," and no one's called me and been like, "Dude, you're right, I did it." I was like, because like one guy, he was like to the point where like the third week I was doing to the IRS was like, "Hey, you overpaid. Here's a check for $2,000." Like I swear to God,
hook me up with that,
and it just snowballed from there. And I'd send it to people all the time, and no one ever does it the whole amount of time. People do it like a day here or a day there. I'm like, just do it every day until.
What was like the mantra? What was like the thing?
They walk you through it. It's just a visualization. It's a visualization thing of like this, that, and the other, and whatever. And I don't believe it. That's why I have to do it. And then it worked, and I was like, no, I can't not believe it.
Yeah.
I can't unbelieve it now.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, it was like wild, like life changing. Like, not like I'm not driving around a Rolls Royce or anything, but like a good chunk of change started flowing in.
Yeah.
You know, and not just like, hey, you won the lottery, but like, hey, here's a gig for $3,000. Hey, can you come over here and do this show? It pays $5,000. Hey, da-da-da-da, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's wild. I'll send it to all of you guys.
Was that when you got the 4 million views?
That was part of it.
Really?
It was part because I had switched it after the money thing worked. This is crazy. So after the money thing worked, I was like, can it work with other things? And then I started doing the social media thing. I was like, I went to get because I had my Instagram account deleted and it like broke my heart. I had to start from zero.
What? Why?
Yeah. I'll tell you that later. Next, actually. Okay. So the next day I was like, all right, let me get my numbers up. And I started manifesting that. And then, dude, like a month later, 4.5 million views on a video, 150 views on this video, 125 videos. Like,
that's crazy.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, send that link. Yeah. We'll put that in the bio of this whole podcast.
Yeah.
See if we can start.
And then we'll get those floor seats.
Yeah.
For the non-Blink.
What do you think I'm working on?
Exactly.
What do you think I'm working on? I'm manifesting Smashing Pumpkins 4 tickets.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking cool, man.
So I got my account deleted because I had a comic message. Are we out of time? We have time for this boring story?
Okay. 36 minutes.
25.
I got a message from a friend of mine on Instagram, and he was like, hey, I'm up for this comedy. Hey, Justin, I'm up for this comedy contest. Like, will you vote for me? And I'm telling you, it was like 6 a.m. I hadn't meditated yet. I hadn't had any coffee. I was like, yeah, fine, sure. He goes, all right, I'm going to text you the link. He's like, in fact, I know you're busy. You don't even have to click on the link. And fill it out. And I was like, great, I don't want to fucking click on any links. He's like, just copy it and paste it and send it back to me. It just needs to come. I need to show my sponsor that it's who's sponsoring the contest that it's coming. Okay, great. Text I'm sending now. Text goes off. It's a number I don't recognize. And I go, okay, I guess I never saved his number. Copied it, sent it back to him, and then all hell breaks loose. The link was from Instagram. They were texting me to reset my password. He had been hacked, and they were posing as him.
What?
So the link they texted me was Instagram texting me like, click here to reset your password. So I copied that link and sent it to whoever. And then, within seconds, I'm locked out, 2-factor identification code set up.
Oh my God.
I'm done. And now they're messaging people as me because I had a lot of people who have more followers. Like he was like here, I was here. And then they were messaging people that were here as me. It was a nightmare. And then,
oh my God.
And then people reported it. It was like a crypto Cash App, whatever scheme. Like so enough people they're like, "This ain't Justin," and they eventually just deleted my account.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was brutal. It was like heartbreaking, especially for us, because that's like currency for us. And I had like spent years building up this following. I'm still not back to where I was yet, but I'm going to be. But it was tough.
When was this?
This was last year. Like no, excuse me, this year. It was this year. It was probably March.
Hey man,
March of this year.
2020 has been rough, dude.
So
COVID, crypto.
Let that be a lesson to you guys. Don't help anyone. Help no one. Support none of your friends.
Except for Justin. So we can get those floor seats.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
take his
like and subscribe to Justin's Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, I got a new one though. It's the Justin Foster, which is way cooler.
Justin Foster.
Yeah. Or the? Is it the or the?
The.
Yeah.
I think the.
So I was so nervous because I was like, I don't want like Justin Foster 257 or Mr. Funny Fuck. I was like, God damn it, please let me get something. And I was like, all right, I'm happy with that.
That's pretty impressive if you got the Justin Foster.
I got it,
because that's like,
Yeah, because I had Justin Comic. That was like my thing for years. And it's gone. It's gone. It's done.
Damn, you had Justin Comic. That's pretty.
I got Instagram like day one.
Damn, I was going to say, that's like a pretty.
I know.
That's a hard one to snag.
I know. Done. Anyways, so here we are. Manifestation. Shit's crazy.
It's probably for the better. They know the first and last name. There's a lot of, Justin Comics. There's probably a lot of Justin Comics.
That's true.
Justin Foster, and they know the full name, and they know.
That's true. And the is very.
Yeah. The.
Yeah. The is very prestigious.
Justin
Foster. So.
Yeah. World works in mysterious ways.
I'm telling you, when that stuff happens, you're like, well, all right. And I can't go back on that.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow,
Start manifesting.
I have a problem with that. Like if something like goes awry from what my initial like plan is, it's just like I'm like just a wreck. Like I can't refocus. I'm just like all over the place.
You're a big plan guy.
Yeah, super planned, like almost to a fault. So like when it doesn't go the way that I want it to go, and
which it
like
never does.
It never does.
Yeah,
it just like throws me for a loop, and I'm just like fucked. So
yeah,
it's
Are you in a relationship?
A dead one. Yeah.
That's another thing.
Oh,
yeah, kind of. I mean,
she died.
You're in like a situationship. You're
I'm
like in a weird.
She didn't die.
No, their relationship's dead. They're just
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I was saying because I used to be like that, very controlling and like
dead relationships.
Yeah, she's in the trunk.
Dead people.
She's in the trunk.
No, like where it's like this is my life. This is what I leave at this time to get at this place at this time. And then, but then when you get in a relationship, it's like all done. Like all your control shit is like completely out the window because now it's just
Yeah.
Well, because you have like it's interesting, man. Like being on the other side of a relationship now, being back to my own little single pad and shit, and just like I like the OCD-ness of how clean my place is. Everything.
Yeah.
When I leave town, I come back, it's all right where I fucking left it. And there's dude.
That's all out the window when you're in a relationship.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
I guess like I would say like my relationship that I have now is probably the best example of how I've kind of like curbed that problem, because I was in a relationship and then that turned into a friendship, and then instead of like most relationships, when you end your relationship, there's bitterness and there's animosity and you don't really talk or whatever. There's something that like the catalyst that like made you guys not want to be together. Well, in my situation, there wasn't any really thing like that. We just kind of grew apart, and so it was like, oh, like don't burn the bridge with this person that didn't really do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, of course.
So let's just like keep that kind of going. So I guess that's like the best example that I have in my life so far of like kind of like taking something that didn't necessarily work out as planned, but you're kind of like just going with the flow and like, all right, well, this doesn't have to be like an end all be all, like, all right, I'll never talk to you again. Like you can still keep a friendship and keep those relationships that you have. You
hear something crazy? I'm still, and don't tell my girlfriend this, but I'm still.
Don't tell his girlfriend this.
I'm still on speaking terms with all of my exes. I'm still friendly. Like any of my exes can call me at any time.
Yeah.
Like
Eric and I kind of both, because like we were both single and then both got in like long-term relationships together, like separately.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, I think like a good person, like you're a good dude. Like I feel like most good guys can still have like an amicable like friendship.
Yeah.
I feel like,
yeah.
Because I actually like went out with a chick that I dated years ago when I was in like Arizona, like in October. And it was funny because it was like the first time I had like hung out with a chick that I dated before my wife, right? Or ex-wife. And I was like, we just kind of like fucking just picked it up right where we left off. But I hadn't seen her in like 13, 14 years. I'm like, this is fucking really surreal.
It's weird.
So I'm like a 40-year-old dude now. And I used to like smoke cigarettes when I like first met you and shit. Like it's very fucking weird, very far removed. But yeah, I mean, obviously like at some point in time, like if you're in like a relationship, you start to like kind of lose contact. But like I had like ex-girlfriends that would come to shows if I was in like San Francisco or Seattle and shit.
Yeah,
and then,
totally.
Like there was one time this chick came though, she was at a show in Seattle with a boyfriend. I was like, this is safe. And then she came to a show in San Francisco single. And I was like, and then she's like, we should just get some Uber Eats and go back to my place. I'm like, absolutely not. This is how I fucking ruined my relationship. Like just because.
Right. You're married at the time.
I was engaged at the time.
Yeah.
And I was with another comic. And he's like, he was married. I was like, this sounds like a bad. He's like, dude, do not do that. You're gonna fuck that chick. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this.
Right. Poor. Uber Eats back at my place. Exactly. Like, I'm taking an Uber back to my hotel. And eating alone. Yeah. But not like. Yeah, I'll have exes come to see me perform, or like their parents will still come and see me perform whenever I'm in town. It's kind of cool. Yeah,
that's great.
I never had like that like blow up like you're out of my life forever. Like it's always and I've been in a few long-term relationships and we've always just kind of just grown apart.
Yeah.
Or I moved. One relationship I moved. I was like, I want to go to LA, and she's like, I don't want to go to LA. So that
I think that's like a sign that you were with, or at least like met a mature person that's like the same maturity level as yourself. Where like you're both like, all right, like. I don't own you. You don't own me. We're not like dependent on each other in that regard. Like we can't like be amicable and talk to each other and be friends still. Like we can have our separate lives and still know each other. Like
I definitely think there's like a cooling off period. Like, I don't think you should talk for like 6 months to a year. Like that should, like if you like that, do that, it usually ends better. If you try to be friends right when it's like still like fresh and hurts and like they're dating and you're dating, it's like really messy. If you just cut, you can always usually come back around as friends later on.
Yeah.
So my situation is even crazier. So
she's a nun. She's a hot nun.
Yeah, she's a hot nun. So I'd say like 5-6 years ago, we officially like weren't together anymore, but we had
That's too
Screams
much.
codependency. Yeah,
that's too much. I've done it, dude. I've co-parented the dogs before too, and it's always a night. Just give them the dog and get a new dog. Here's what I do now. Like in my relationship now, like
get a new dog.
This is my dog. This is my dog. This is my dog. I'll walk the dog. I'll feed the dog. If anything happens, he's coming with me. Like there's no question. Like this is my dog. Because I've been in that situation before where you co-parent a dog and that you're still like hanging on to their life somehow, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
You can do that with kids too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So far, it's worked out. It's worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I'm like, I'm going out. She's like, okay. I'm like, I'll, see you in a couple days. And like, she's going out, does her thing.
That would drive me crazy. I would hate that.
Yeah. That's what most people say. They're like, what's wrong with you? So like, whenever anybody asks me like that, I, see at like that know me, whatever, they're like, how's your girlfriend or whatever? Or like, you have a girlfriend. And I'm like, it's just easier to be like, sure. Yeah, because I like to tell that story and like the relationship that I have. It's such a weird fucking like.
That would drive me crazy. You like this dress? You're just like going out on a date. You're like, oh yeah, it looks good. Should I wear the blue belt or the red one?
But you guys are at that point where you're
it's
just
so like that, and I'm like
platonic roommates. There's like no sexual attraction there and shit.
Yeah, it is.
There's zero sexual attraction.
Dates too.
None, like zero, like none.
When was the last time you guys hooked up?
7 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's way different.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
there's like
it's
zero.
Way more
like,
sad.
Yeah, that's worse. Somehow that's worse. How old is this dog?
18. He's 18 years old.
Dog.
He's
like carrying the weight of like two people's friendship on his shoulders. You could see it in his eyes. He's like, "Don't die, because they're going to be lonely. I'm the one thing holding them together. No. They might both suicide." And he's just like getting grayer by the day, just like.
It's like the dog from Family Guy. He's just dragging himself down the street.
You got him just like pumped to the IVs, trying to keep him alive and shit. He's in that fucking sleep tank that Jackson was in.
The Star Wars
chamber.
Oh man!
Until the dog dies, like, come back together, stickers.
Oh man!
Don't die.
What are those animals that live like for like 30 years?
Turtles?
You guys get a turtle together?
Turtle's 98.
I want to break up, but
leave her, but we got a 98-year-old turtle.
Yeah. Donatello's getting up there.
Donatello's getting up there.
Shit. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you.
Yeah.
That's one way to live life,
Mm-hmm.
You seem happy.
I honestly, I don't have any problem with it. I'm like totally like, I don't know. I think it's just hearing somebody say that, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But
but 7 years is also a long time. But she hasn't found anyone in 7 years to like be in a long time.
Yeah, she's had a boyfriend for on and off for maybe like 6-7 months in the past like year and a half. Would fly to a different state to go see her boyfriend, and he has kids and do all this stuff. And
are you guys allowed to bring people back to the place?
Well, we live in separate apartments.
Oh, okay.
So it's like not like we're not living together, but okay. So it's like
gotcha. For some reason, I thought you said you were roommates.
We were at one point.
So he, his ex-wife and my girlfriend and our 2 dogs all lived together for about 5 years.
Gotcha.
In the same apartment that I currently still live in. So
Okay.
We had like a little family unit thing, and everybody kind of spread out and went their separate ways, but remained friends for the most part with, Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like that kind of a thing. But that whole story is like a very odd thing for people to grasp, in a passing conversation. Like, so what's going on? Well, it's like, okay, it's like, Jesus. Oh yeah, sure. Whatever. It's a girlfriend or a friend or no.
People are just like, all right, note to self, don't ask Eric about his relationship anymore.
Oh my God. The dog.
Yeah. It's just a
secondhand anxiety for you.
But so what, good segue. What do you got coming up? We got some good some stand-ups going on.
Yeah, I'm always doing stand-up. I don't know when this comes out, but I have a comedy. My very first comedy special is coming out on YouTube. In December or January, probably. They say December, but I'm going to probably say January. I'm really excited about it. We've been cutting it. We've been doing like 6-hour days, like editing it, and I think we have like 3 hours left, and
nice.
Then color correct it, and then I'm gonna put it out on my YouTube. I'm really excited about it.
What is your YouTube?
It's the Justin Foster.
Justin Foster, you got that one too.
Yeah, the Justin Foster.
Keep
going. So that was a big deal for me because we had like we did 2 shows, 4 camera shoot each show. Yeah. So it looks, it looks like not Netflix quality, but close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks good. So I'm excited about that. And then I always got shows around town and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're always playing shows. You're
always
doing
doing
playing with some. I see your sets.
Yeah,
doing some big stuff.
Doing Vegas
theaters. Nobody.
I like to do theaters from time to time. Just did
cool.
Vegas. They're bringing me back for 2 weeks in February, which is cool.
Nice.
2 weeks in
Where you
Las
in
Vegas.
Plug.
Brad Garrett's Comedy Club.
Okay, nice.
February.
Dude, Vegas
20th.
is such a fucking untapped resource. Like I really just started like scratching the surface like this year.
Yeah.
But like since the pandemic, it's just blown up with like clubs, man. There's like 5 times as many clubs in Vegas as there is in LA. And then there's like a nonstop just populate the audience every night because people are checking in and checking out, man. It's a fucking tourist destination.
Yeah, they have me there for 2 weeks, but it's like Monday through Sunday with a show every night. So you're doing 14 shows.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, I love it, but there's and the audience is already built in. Vegas is really cool, and they pay too.
Yeah.
I was doing a show there 2 weeks ago, and someone saw me and liked me, and they were like, I know you're in LA, but would you ever come out and do like this? I have this, this off strip gig. And I was, yeah, of course. I do it. It's a Monday and a Wednesday, and it doesn't, it's not a lot of money. It's like $500 each show. And
that's
I'm like,
great. That's a
yeah.
Yeah. I think we can make that work.
Yeah.
But I'm from LA where we don't get paid anything.
Right.
For sure.
Of
course I'll come down on a Monday to make it.
Yeah.
Pros and cons about starting comedy in LA. Because where'd you start?
I started in Dallas.
Okay.
And it couldn't have been better.
Okay. So yeah, I think we talked about this before because you actually had audience and stuff. And
our open mics had like 65 people.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I started here and it was just like, it's always been an uphill battle. And it's just like, anytime I got any pay, I'm always like, and I'm getting paid for this. This is the shit. So you go to any other like market and you're like, oh, you fucking really treat like, because even Vegas, they're like, ooh, LA comic. And you're like,
yeah.
Do you think that's because like LA is so oversaturated with talent that like if you start in Texas, they're like, oh my God, a comic, and then like it's just like a better like
Bill Burr's doing free bar shows or $10. You know what I mean? Like you can see the best of the best, and most of the shows are papered and like here's the prime example of this. And I was doing a show, and it was this isn't trying to name drop. This is just in context of the story. It was like me and like Kevin Nealon, David Spade, Doug Benson, and then like ?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they were doing that show, and it was like Jim Jeffries, Jim Jeffries, Gabriel Iglesias, and ? And I was like, who else do you need?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Fluffy sells at Dodger Stadium. Like, why do we have to have who's the question mark? Like, I think all the shows are just kind of devalued here, where people are like, well, who else is there?
Right.
This is good. Jim
It's
Jeffries,
a hologram of George Carlin.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you run into that a lot, where you can see the best of the best every single night for like $5 or nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Why would they pay us?
I mean, I'm sure, like, I know just from hanging out with Tony and, being a comic, going to like the Comedy Store, and I'm like, oh my God, I saw like 5 of my 10 favorite comics tonight for free. We just were like walking around, hanging out, and talking to everybody. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And he's like, yeah, it's like all the time here. Like, like you get spoiled kind of like just seeing that all the time.
And then the other places, you know, outside of LA, they have a budget and the venue pays them and then they pay the comics. And so it's a little bit, I mean, in Dallas, like you could make a living as a comic in Dallas. You could just like do, like you don't have to be a famous headliner. You could just do shows all the time and like have a pretty decent living. Here, it's like if you're at all the major clubs, you're getting $15 a spot. And like, you know, which is like, I still think that's like, I don't think that's ridiculous because there's so many comics. I don't think it's just the amount of talent that's out here that just want to go up and work out jokes.
Right.
It's like no one's paying, I guess. Does that make sense? But
do you think it makes you a better comic for being out here because there's so many like killer people out here? You're like, oh shit. Like,
well, Tony was talking about pros and cons. I think one of the pros is you're with everybody out here.
With pros,
But even not pros, you know what I mean? Like we did your show like 2 weeks ago and everybody was like killing your birthday show, right? And some of those guys, if you saw them on a poster, you'd be like, I don't know who 90% of these guys are. So that's that. You're getting the best of the best from all over the world that's out here. Some of them are famous. Some of you don't even know. I remember my first show out here, I had to follow a guy named Tony Baker.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Tony, but I didn't know. I was like, oh yeah, Tony. Okay. I've never heard of this guy before. And you're just like, oh my God. Like the guy's just crushing. So there's a lot of that out here. You got to figure it out.
Who is that? Who's the comic? Lachlan?
Lachlan too. I did a show with him recently.
Tony, one of Andy Lazarus, who's on this podcast before, also stand-up comic. He had like a backyard show in the back of his house.
Yeah, and, birthday show.
And Lachlan did it, and it was I didn't know who he was, and I was like, oh, this guy's fucking hilarious.
Right?
Like, who the fuck is this guy? And now he's like a all over the fucking place.
Yeah. You know, you'll do that. You'll move here and you're like, look at the line. You're like, I've never heard of this guy before. And then you're like, whoa, my God.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That's the other funny thing too, man, is again, like going to like other markets and stuff. Like I felt like that there are some really good Vegas comics and shit, man. And I was just like, this guy's fucking like, it's interesting because I don't necessarily know that they're like kind of like, again, you can do a lot of work there, but like that next level, and most of those guys like talking after shows and shit, like the post-show hang, were trying to come to LA more to get more like their name and get like the fucking credits and all that kind of stuff. So do national headlining stuff, but like they were fucking like solid polished comics and shit. And like same thing in like Seattle or San Francisco, wherever you go, there's always like a couple standout dudes who are like, you need to get more of like just project yourself out there more because you're like super funny. You're like kind of pigeonholing yourself to a smaller market. But
yeah, that's a scary thing now with comedy being so like, I don't want to say it's oversaturated, but it's very popular right now. And there's a lot of people that are, because back in our day, like we would have to go to the clubs and like study the comics, right? You could watch Comedy Central stuff, but really to like see like what a road guy was doing, you'd have to be in the room. Now, like these kids are studying on YouTube and TikTok and they're like figuring out so much faster. So you'll go to these markets and it'll be like, back in the day, you would travel and you'd be like, all right, the local host, he's going to suck. And then now they're like, holy shit, they're all monsters, man.
Really?
They're all like, I was in Tucson, I was in Gilbert, Arizona, and Phoenix. I did 3, and every single local comic was banging. I mean, and like 21, 22, 23, just banging sets. You're like,
what's the microphone? Right?
Yeah, you're like, all right, okay. Because I mean, it used to be like, all right, the local guy's gonna suck, and I got to do all the work. And now it's like, can I follow this guy who's been doing comedy for 6 months?
Do you think that like TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff like propelled their like their comedy?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
By doing that, but even though it's not to an audience, but because it's just them and a camera or like them like
no.
You know,
when
like
I say TikTok, I mean they're able to like look at every comic from all over the world and see what they're doing and see what works. And I can
the fundamentals and all that kind
the
of stuff.
fundamentals of joke writing and performing. It's all there now. You can sit on YouTube and watch, you know, everybody that's ever done comedy. Badly, great, medium, and just study that shit.
Because that used to be a thing before TikTok. What you didn't want to release your shit because you don't want to fucking give away what you're having the audience come to see you do. And then during the pandemic, when people couldn't get on stage, it's just like, well, I got to keep putting something out there so you build a following. And people's fucking careers were built off of that kind of shit.
I know 5 dudes that I was doing open mics with before pandemic that are now like national touring headliners because of social media and TikTok and it's just like.
Follow Justin to find out who that is.
Dude, didn't we see like Bill Burr at Hooters on Hollywood?
Hooters and
that was fucking ridiculous. At a the Hooters, a shithole Hooters on Hollywood. upstairs, not on the lower.
No, I've done it. Trust me, I know where it is. Yeah.
And there was
right
like 7
passage,
people in the audience, and he's like, he's like, and I don't even think we knew, or I didn't really know who he was at the time. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's just crazy.
We saw him at the Parlor on Melrose, and then like the show is over, but Jay Davis, shout out Jay Davis, was like kind of, hey, there's a really special guest coming, and Chappelle fucking did a spot. This is before all of his Netflix specials came out and shit. It was just crazy because True Chappelle, remember that? He's like smoking cigarettes inside. I was like, and I like my friends were like, friends of a friends owned that place. And I was like, what the fuck is this? This place just opened like 6 months ago. Now Dave Chappelle's smoking cigarettes and telling jokes. I haven't seen him. He like literally resurfaced for that show. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I remember Bill Burr from that show. And then the guy who the show's named after is on it. I'm like,
that's crazy.
This is like literally like the year I got into stand. I'm like, I want to do this. This is like what I like
That's
to do.
when we're doing the Parlor, the show there.
Yeah.
So even crazier on the other end of like, so comics and then music. So he and a buddy of ours, Mark Rodriguez, who has a podcast, Mark Rodriguez Project, he did a show every Saturday called Singing Saturdays, and it was kind of like a talent show. It was just comics and musicians basically, and have a bunch of comics go on and a bunch of artists and like musicians and stuff. And the same thing with musicians. It would be like, hey, like who's on the lineup, and I would play most of the weeks and stuff, but he'd be like, oh, it's this person from The Voice, this person from America's Got Talent, this person from this, like the runner up or the winner or whatever. And I'm like, huh? Like, I'm like, I have to go after this fucking person. They're like,
my coworker.
They're like incredible, like insane, and you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like the talent in this town is like so intimidating. It really is.
You're better. That's the thing. Is like you gotta fucking
have to be
level up. Yeah.
What do they say? The cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of cream here, and you just have to. You always have to be. But then you get to be that guy. Like you get to be like I did a show at Flappers last night. I had a great set, and I know everyone in the green room had no idea who I was. Right. So then you get to the people after you be like, okay, all right. I don't know who this guy was, and I thought it was going to be easy to follow, and so now they have to get better. I think it's great. LA has a lot of problems, and it does. I'm not gonna say that California doesn't have problems, but it is. There is a lot of cool stuff going on here. Like we're going to a concert on a Monday night. Like there's a lot of cool stuff happening here all the time that it's like you don't get that at a lot of these
opportunity
places.
is you can't compare it to anywhere
but just
else.
Even as a fan of stuff,
of course,
people were like, I was doing a show in Kansas, and they were like, "Are you guys still on lockdown? Is COVID still happening there?" I'm like, and I really was honest. I was like, in the last 4 weeks, I saw the Smashing Pumpkins do a house party in Studio City, and I saw Kevin Hart do a show in front of 20 people. So we're pretty open. And they're like, "Wait, you guys got it like that?" You're like, "Yeah, we got it like that."
You get to see like all of the best artists in the world for free, or like just on a like you said, like a house party, or like some weird random shit that always happens where you're like, "Oh, hey, I'm at someone's place," and they're like, "Oh, who's gonna play? Oh, my buddy's band. Who's your buddy's band? Oh, the Smashing Pumpkins." You're like, what the fuck?
That's
and you're
exactly what happened.
Billy and the boys are coming over.
It's just like that, and people don't believe that is like the reality of living out here. But if you live in Hollywood, I think specifically Hollywood, I think if you go in the outskirts and stuff, if you're like in fucking Orange County or something, you're not having those same experiences. But being in this town, which is a very small town, you have so many of those interactions in the course of a year, let alone a decade, that it's just like, it's kind of unrelatable, or almost comes off as like braggadocious to people that don't live here, where people that live here are like, oh yeah, okay, like that's a very like
they owe it to us for what we pay, for sure. For what we have to go through, they owe us that.
That's a great point though.
Celebrity tax.
Rent might be crazy high, but I mean the perks are pretty dope. I mean, you get some pretty cool experiences for sure.
Well, on that positive note, we are out of time.
All right,
so plug all the ways that people can give you money.
Foster.
Donate.
Get us those floor
seats.
Get us
those floor seats. Follow me on Instagram, The Justin Foster. Follow me on YouTube, The Justin Foster, and look for my comedy special out in a month.
Nice.
Congrats on that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin.
Always a pleasure hanging with you and shit. Look forward to tomorrow as well. You can follow me at Tony Klein Comedian on Instagram, my website at TonyKleinComedian.com. That's all I really got. Eric's got all the plugs right here.
Yeah. You can follow me personally on Eric Rustler on Instagram. You can follow this show at the Eric and Tony Show on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The full hour and 3-minute video will be out every Monday on YouTube. The audio version will be out on Spotify every Monday. And throughout the week, I do 60-second clips of the guests that we have on. And so every day you get a little bit of a little taste of what we had for the full video. Also, if you want to support this podcast, you can go to the ericandtonyshow.com. You can purchase some of these dope beer mugs. We got some t-shirts and stuff if you want to help support the channel. And we will see you all on the next show. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.